Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Kicking It with Gab and Chuch,
I am Gab.
and I am Chuch.
Let's go. We got another week coming in. We got our returning segment of Man of the Podcast, Barclays Man of the Podcast. We got our usual award banger of the week. Gonna skip out on the Starboy of the week unless you have one. But I could say my banger of the week goes to the Starboy if I need to. Also going to get into our recap, check out Champions League, and that should wrap it up. But definitely maybe a little bit of a longer episode just because there's so much Champions League going on. And the new Barclays Man of the Podcast is implemented. So go ahead and start us off with your banger of the week, Chooch.
Banger of the week. I think we've come to an agreement. John Duran, dude, the way he lined up to shoot it felt like me on pro clubs, just lining up that belter. He looked so effortlessly, absolute banger.
Yeah, definitely. He gets my banger of the week. Could also qualify for the Starboy of the week if needed. But I did have a couple honorable mentions: Harvey Barnes and Fabian Schär with two absolute bangers. You could argue either of them were just as good as the John Duran one, but John Duran down, they were down 0-2, get the win 3-2. Could say the same Harvey Barnes. They were down, 1-0. Harvey Barnes gets the winner. Just thought those are some good ones. Fabian Schär, always a good, decent goal scorer for Newcastle, surprisingly, this season. But yeah, definitely good one. And we move to Chuch's Barclays Man of the Pod.
I'm going with a very underrated baller. Absolute joy to watch. This man has the techers. He has the skills to pay the bills. Yannick Bolasie from Crystal Palace. And he played at Everton too. But if you were to watch this guy play, it was unreal. That's what he was known for: his pace, his dribbling, his 1v1 ability. You look at the appearances and the goals, you're gonna be like, dude, what? This guy's a bum. You got 121 appearances and only 13 goals. But watching this guy was an absolute joy, buddy. He is the epitome of that skillful winger on pro clubs. He is dribbling down, taking a player 1v1. Man, this guy, he's the type of winger that if he played under Pep, he would never be the type of player that he was.
That's crazy.
But needless to say, yeah, that wise not the best, but just talent wise, ability wise, it was insane. Injuries did play a factor in it. This is like you always hear it. Injuries, are the downfall of a player's career. He was constantly getting injured. And then Palace struggling as always. But yeah, just YouTube Yannick Bolasie highlight, buddy.
Cheech said that this was his dream winger. And you know what? All I have to say to that is if your dream winger can only score a max 6 goals per season, I don't know. 6 goals, 9 assists in the best season he had, 14-15. Palace only finished in like 18th or 15th, something like that. Not too bad. I get it. All right, whatever. But, I will admit, this guy seems like a really good guy. He's done a lot of podcasts, interviews with a lot of, podcast places. Seems like a good guy. I watched a couple of them earlier since Chooch chose him as his Barclays Man of the Week. Nothing bad to say about the guy. I did watch his highlights. He's absolutely filthy. So definitely, good for him. If you get a chance to watch some of his podcast interviews, just go on YouTube, type in Yannick Bolasie podcast. He's on like Filthy Fellas. He's on The Beautiful Game. He's on a couple other ones. I think he even thrashed Everton a bit. But yeah, unfortunately, one of those ones that what could have been had he not got injured quite so often at Everton. Big star for Palace. And then, just YouTube him. You could see his 1v1 abilities quite mad. Couple of taunts in there while he's doing the 1v1s. Pretty skillful. But yeah, we'll have another one next episode. Every episode for you, we'll have a Barclays Man of the week or of the podcast, more say. And I will be up next week, and I already have him in mind. He's already a dog. No, I mean, you probably know him, but you're not going to expect it. Let's see. We got our next up weekend recap for the results of the Premier League this weekend. Some good ones for sure. Some shockers. So we'll let Chuch get into it with the results.
Buddy, we're talking about it. Going into the weekend, that this was a must-win game for United. We were talking with our boy Zach earlier, saying that to give them their flowers, because that they did well, but they did play Southampton, the second worst team so far. But yeah, it was first half kind of shaky, and they come away with a 3-0 victory. Notable performance. De Ligt played pretty well. It's good to see him trying to kind of coming in. Rashford had a pretty good goal. Nice to see that him score again. Just let's see if we can keep it consistent. Garnacho scores. The late freaking goal. Fucking 96 minute. Ooh. No, but yeah, I really like Garnacho. Just want to see more of him. I was looking at the game, and dude, Ramsdale sucks.
But he's facing 20 shots a game. What do you want him to do? Man United literally had 20 shots.
He's
What do you want the
bad.
guy to do?
I don't know. I'm just
What do you
giving him
want
a
him to
hard
do?
time.
20 shots. You know what? Let me go back. Now, Aaron Rams. I'm not even a big Aaron Ramsdale fan, but Jesus, man. I mean, what can you do? What can you do when you're facing that many shots? Let's go back. Brentford versus Southampton was the last game before. Let's see. 18 shots. Oh, no, 20 shots again. So he faced 40 shots in 2 games. Let's see. Was he in when they played for us? Let's have a look. Nah. Oh, wait. No, he wasn't. Let's see.
He's overrated. He's
Yeah,
fine.
so in the 2 games that he's played, he faced 40 total shots. I mean, what can he do? What can he do?
I'm just giving him a hard time because he's an ex-Arsenal player. What? Yeah.
Regardless, man.
Credit to Man United. Give them their roses.
Yeah, I mean, they won a game they should have won.
Yeah.
Congrats. Yeah, I mean, shoot. Yeah. I mean, Man United, shame on you. Just for being in the spot that you're in. Shame on you. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. Man United, good for them.
Blah, blah, blah.
Played good ball.
We're done. We're talking about him.
Garnacho apparently got dropped out of the squad for liking Ronaldo's comments.
It's always something at that club.
But he comes back and he scores. Yeah, it's always something, man. Just, to me, it just goes to show that Ten Hag is cooked. Still, he was cooked last season. Gonna be cooked this season. Doesn't seem like he has the locker room behind him. I mean, Rashford, even though he got the goal, sure, guy didn't even celebrate with any passion. I mean, he didn't even realize that it was going to be a goal until it was in the back of the net. Like, it's just, there's no passion. There is no passion. There is no attention. There's nothing. There's nothing at Man United right now. It's Southampton. You should win. You should have won 7-0. Anyway. Let's move to
Anyway,
the next one.
let's move on. So we had Brighton Ipswich, the game that we thought Brighton would easily handle them and obliterate them, ends in a 0-0 draw. But Brighton once again showing the quality of their play, dominating possession, absolutely just took over the game. Just was not able to score at all. 21
Yeah,
shots compared to Ipswich's 6. Yeah,
yeah,
just it's just one of those. I feel like every team has one of those games where you could play that match one or two more times and you still won't score. It's bound to happen eventually.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Calvin Phillips played well that game. There was Amari Hutchinson as well. I mean, they just did enough to get over the line. Definitely would consider this a win with how well Brighton have played.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, obviously the shot disparity, the possession disparity, you would have for sure thought that Brighton could have won this game, 3-4-0, which they very well could have. But I mean, shoot, we'll head into the next match for Brighton. I mean, we'll see if they're gonna be able to keep up the performances they've been having. Because even this one, like Chuch said, I mean, should have been a win. I mean, you could have very well easily say they dominated, which they did. So we'll see what happens there. But that's all we got for this one. Evan Ferguson, I don't believe he played 1 minute, but he did play for the national team over the break. And so yeah, I mean, we'll see. Actually, he did get in the 85th minute for Amari Hutchinson,
right.
or not for Amari Hutchinson,
For
Danny Welbeck. I
yeah.
mean, let's go to the next one.
And then next game, pretty good game. Palace Leicester ends in a draw 2-2.
Potential man of the match for me. Could have went two ways. It did go to John Felipe Mateta, who did save him, I would say, but Wilfred Ndidi absolutely balled out. 2 assists that game. I mean, for Leicester, I mean, 32% possession. I mean, that versus 67%. You get 9 shots on target out of that. I mean, that's pretty good for them.
Yeah, and then we saw IU going against former club. The
Yeah,
return,
definitely.
he did all right. Another player that I'm really liking is Mavidi, if I said it right. Um, he was balling out in the Eredivisie, in the French league. Now he's back in the Prem. Um, he's a little. I think he's a little older. I think he's like 28, 29, but it's good seeing him play. He's pretty good to watch. Jamie Vardy, of course, bags a goal. Jamie Vardy's always having a party, buddy. It was 3 Red Bulls a day. I think it
Yeah.
was insane.
Yeah, definitely some changes from Leicester so far. I mean, De Cordova Reed didn't play at all.
No,
Ricardo Pereira still yet to see the pitch. Fatawu came in late. I mean, I think they're just trying to figure it out right now. They haven't done too bad. I mean, that's a pretty good result for them, I'd say, based on Crystal Palace's actual caliber, not versus how they've been playing this season. But definitely, I think, I mean, Eddie Nketiah came on, had a decent, first game, didn't really do, anything bad. He's definitely going to get the feel for it still and see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I think John Felipe Mateta had an unreal Olympic form. It looks like it's carrying, a little bit more back. Adam Wharton returned, so that's good for them. They seem to be, in full flux. Lacroix officially back or officially in the squad
yeah,
after the transfer. So, I mean, they're starting to get going. I mean, you definitely saw it a bit more, dominating the possession, dominating the shots. But at the same time, I mean, Leicester, as they have this whole season so far, just seem to take their chances when they have them. And yeah, and they end up with 2 off of only 9 shots and 4 on target. So pretty good conversion rate there.
yeah, definitely a good game. Um, And just we're keeping the form of draws. We're going into the next game. London Derby, Fulham West 1-1. Um, Danny Ings. Who would have thought?
Yeah, Danny Ings.
And what?
92nd minute.
Yeah. No, I think it was like 94, 95, buddy.
95th minute.
Yeah.
95th minute.
It
Yeah.
was. When's the last time you heard Danny Ings' name, buddy?
Yeah, literally. Comes on as a sub in the 82nd minute. Not too much has gone right for West Ham in this game. Fulham did get a little bit, more of the domination, a lot more shots, and a lot more possession. 54% for Fulham, and 21 shots total for them. I think they've been playing unreal to start this season so far. They may have, I think, got a draw with the Ipswich last week around, but I mean, they've been playing pretty well. Wan-Bissaka's in there. I mean, they got some real talent. Kudus, Edson Alvarez, Jared Bowen, Thomas Suchek. Fulkrug still not even fully in, wasn't even in the squad this
Yeah.
time around.
But knock.
Yeah, picked up a knock during, I think it was the international, or right when he came back. Lucas Paqueta, Carlos Solares, Somerville. A lot of talent on this team to, only, barely get saved. But that just goes to show, I think, how well Fulham's been playing. I mean, Calvin Bassey, Anthony Robinson has been unreal. Definitely going to, be a massive impact for USA coming up. I mean, he should. You would think. Dama Traore been absolutely key in almost every game that they've played
Yeah,
so far.
I think you got player of the match.
I think it was Anton. Oh, yeah, I don't remember exactly, but Alex Iwobi, ex-Arsenal man from the Barclays Man days himself. Emil Smith Rowe,
Emil Smith
former
Rowe
Arsenal man.
was insane in that and to get that assist, saving
Yeah,
it right before it goes out of bounds. Nice little
yeah,
dribble. Finds Raul Jimenez, who's good to see back in the starting lineup over Rodrigo Muniz, who's been playing pretty well.
yeah. Yeah, he saw a little bit of Reese Nelson in there too. I mean, just definitely, we always say Fulham are hot and cold. I would say, despite the result, they played a really dang good game, and I mean, they deserved to win it. Should have won it, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's good potential for them going forward. I think they finished maybe 12th last season, and I mean, they're quite a bit up there right now. I expect them to finish higher this year than what they did, just because of how well they've played.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good game. Nice London derby. Let's move it on over to our our upset of the week. Forest Liverpool. Down goes slot ball. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Absolutely unreal. This guy's showing, balling out. I'm giving, I'm giving him his roses, buddy. That's what more can I say?
Callum Hudson-Odoi. At what point will any defenders learn that the guy will cut in and take a shot the second he sees the space? They still let him do it. Anthony Alonga puts in some hard, tough work on the opposite end up until that cross that he had there across the field. But definitely, I mean, Hudson-Odoi has been unreal. We've seen him for Chelsea in his younger days. Was unreal then. He's developed that inside, curler to the far post. Quite unreal. One of the best in the game for sure. I'd say right now. But yeah, I mean, every week we talk about this Forest team not really showing up, not really doing, maybe one guy shows up instead of two. But Ilonga and Hudson-Odoi both come off the bench this time after some changes. So, that mixes it up a little bit. Elliot Anderson, new addition. Ward Prowse, new addition. Take the spots in the midfield. So, definitely some changes, but they got the win over Arnie Slot. And Arnie Slot said, if you're losing to Nottingham Forest, that means something's wrong. So we'll see what happens there. Not a lick of not a lick of anything Darwin Nunez starting related. You know, Joe Gomez still never gets any time. Cody Gakpo's been coming off the bench. Um, I'm not sure, really. I mean, Liverpool are way better than that. I mean, there's nothing more to say other than it's just a drop game from some poor focus or, from them. I mean, they got dominated, you know, not necessarily, anything too much more than that. Nottingham Forest got dominated, but on the counter got the goal and it changed the game. And that was it from there.
Yeah, and then I think we mentioned it last episode that there's a bunch of uncertainty of who's starting up top. Once again, we got Jota up top. Gakpo, Nunez on the bench. That probably might come into question of, you have two out and out strikers, and compared to Jota, who's usually plays on the wing or kind of like a center forward, center attacking mid type of player, not an out and out striker. But yeah, it's not like Liverpool played bad. To say they played bad isn't overreaction. I think they played fine. It was just unluckiness. You look at the stats: 69% possession, 14 shots, compared to forced 5 shots, and then same. You look at the corners. That's 7 corners compared to 2. Just got to take advantage of those opportunities you guys get, and there's a lot of uncertainty that we're seeing on Twitter that if Liverpool's struggling, Man United struggling, Chelsea struggling, Aston Villa struggling, Arsenal kind of struggling, it's going to be another cakewalk for Man City. And I'm not, and they're trying to say maybe we're the washed up league.
We're the Farmers League.
We're the Farmers League, buddy. Yeah, but
we'll see.
The only time will tell, but we cannot afford. If Man City win again, buddy, we're going to be the new Farmers League. I'm afraid. I'm afraid we're cooked.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you consider 4 times in a row already, but yeah, I guess 5 would do it. But that leads us right into our next game: Man City versus Brentford. 2-1 win. Felt a little bit uncertain for me.
That right.
There were times at the when they score at the beginning, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me because you know what. I know what my team's capable of. I know what's going to happen. They're going to dominate the ball. They're going to get shots off. Erling Haaland is automatic. I mean, going for a hat trick of hat tricks, doesn't fully get it, but gets the double. Still quite a bit freaking unreal. We not necessarily dominated, but 53% possession, 18 shots. I mean, we absolutely cooked. Rodri did not get the start, but he did come on at some point during the half. Jack Grealish played well. Ilkay Gundogan got the start. No Phil Foden yet, even though he was returning fully fit on the bench. Probably maybe next week, maybe a week or more. Just a heavy summer for him. Peps have done really well to keep him good. No Doku this time around either. A lot of changes in the starting lineup, but a lot of changes at halftime and beyond. Matthias Nunes gets back in, also plays pretty well. John Stones plays well. Rico Lewis at left back. I mean, just unreal. Weird position that guy's been in. But Jan Basuma and Mbuemo have been quite unreal for Brentford. Going to show they don't really need, Tony up there.
Yeah.
Fabio Carvalho hasn't been playing too bad. Still no Ben Mee, but I am here for the Ben Mee appearance when and if it comes.
That's
and Erling Haaland, man of the match.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland could win Starboy of the Week every week. We just don't. I mean, at this point, it's the obvious.
Yeah, but it'd be a never-ending cycle, and then you just beat here Farmers League, Farmers League, Farmers League.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But it is quite unreal. Erling Haaland, one Ederson assist, by the way. That was absolute
yep,
beauty. I mean, could have
more
had three.
assists than Anthony
Yeah,
is insane.
yeah, quite unreal.
Some people were like, it's because Addison's been in the league longer.
Yeah, yeah, quite
um,
unreal. I think he has 4 or 5 assists in the
he
league
has four.
total. Yeah,
There's four
4.
now.
Yeah, so 4
Absolutely.
league assists, notably to Kun Aguero and Erling Haaland, the two most notables. Ilkay Gundogan with another, and I can't remember the last one. It's actually to Haaland again. Yeah, so that was just last season, I believe.
Unreal.
But yeah, definitely some banger assists from him. Let's move us into the next one, which I think is our actual game of the week.
Game of the week. Yeah. We had Villa, Everton. Everton took a 2-0 lead, and surprise, surprise, or I'm not surprised. I knew it was coming. I knew there was no way that Everton were going to win this game.
I thought, once they went up 2-0, I was like, I never thought like, wow, could they do this? I just thought, man, they're gonna fold it
Yeah,
again.
the story of them right now. Ollie Watkins scores twice, but me and Gab were talking about it. He's not looking his sharpest out there. Definitely not the best that we saw from him last year. He scored 2 goals. We'll give him that, but I feel like he's not playing as good as he's supposed to be playing. And
It's missing a lot of the easy ones. I
yeah,
feel like for sure.
and there's definitely a question of will Duran start over him? I think yes. He's making that push to get the starting spot over him. I mean, you saw what that wonder goal that he scored, absolutely from nothing to win them the game. You got to give him props, buddy. That was such, and a lot of people. There's a lot of questions of who is doing all the scouting because this dude was playing in the MLS.
Yeah,
He was playing in the MLS, and no one thought, "Hey, let's go watch this kid
yeah,
because this guy is balling."
yeah. I think it was for Columbus Crew or Chicago Fire. Let's see,
Um,
MLS. I think it was Chicago Fire. Let's see. Yeah, it was Chicago Fire. Club record transfer for them when they did it. Looks like it was $22 million plus $4 million in add-ons, which was at the time the highest fee in 2023. Let's see. But yeah, let's see. So I mean, I think realistically, what they would probably figure in doing is starting Ollie Watkins and John Duran. Not sure. Jacob Ramsey could be maybe a flaw in that one. Morgan Rogers has been playing unreal. Yuri Teleman's been playing unreal. John McGinn's your main man. Amadou Onana right back in it new. I think he came off with a bit of an injury, but he wasn't playing well either. So
but give away a goal. Ross
yeah,
Barkley slowly starting to find himself in this team.
yeah.
Just, I mean, they have all the pieces. We saw Mattinson get in the game as well.
Almost had an assist to John Duran on an unreal scissor type kick. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll find a way to start both of them at some
Yeah.
point because, yeah, I mean, super sub, but then you want to see him play a full 90 minutes. But he is averaging quite a bit of an unreal goal per 90. I think it's 92 minutes per goal, which the only one better I think is Erling Haaland right now at like 70 something. So either way, quite unreal. We'll have to see what happens with him. Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely a solid outing from Villa. A little bit lackluster on the goals. I think one was a set piece, and I can't remember the other. But either way, we'll see what happens from here. Oh, Dwight McNeil's was just a caught off guard type of goal. Didn't really see it coming. Some people in the way, but definitely John Duran making a name for himself in the league.
Definitely. Yeah. And then we're gonna wrap up this Saturday with Chelsea Bournemouth. It was not the best performance, but we got the win. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, we saw the boy Jadon Sancho, player of the match, 007 who?
007. Yeah, that's crazy. Good performance from Jadon Sancho coming on at the half. Definitely, I mean, super sub goal from the
Cuckoo.
main man, Christopher Nkunku. No Moidrick this game. We did see Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, and Pedro Neto all in the same. Jadon Sancho replaced them, though. So, I mean, I think realistically, those are your top two guys at the winger positions. Moidrick may get the back seat just because he's younger. Not so much experience in the Prem as these other two guys have had. And then Noni Madueke has been playing out of his mind, too. So, definitely some change there. No Reece James, no Malo Gusto. Disasi gets the start. And that's it. I mean, definitely not the best for me. The fact that we're still not the fact that this guy Renato Viega has been playing in the midfield more than a couple others that I have in mind is a little bit more shocking.
Yeah, Enzo came back late, wasn't feeling good. Same with uh, KDH. He said he wasn't feeling well. But, and what did I tell you about last week? I said Anthony Taylor's refing this game. It's going to be a shit show. And what happened? He broke the record for most yellow cards in a game. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, buddy, this guy is corrupt. He
Yes.
had a money line on, yo, this is the game. Most yellow cards ever. Just trust, bro, trust. He was giving
Jeez.
everything. Chelsea's going to get fined because of it. It's ridiculous. I don't know, buddy. I hate Anthony Taylor. He's a knobhead and he's bald.
That's crazy. Sorry to any bald fans out there watching. Come on.
So, our
Have some
our
class.
coach our coach is bald. I can't make the Pep is bald jokes anymore. It's over. The era is over.
Have some class, mate. Jeez.
But no, I just Chelsea fans, if you're watching, we hate Anthony Taylor. Guys, he's not a good dude. I
Yeah,
want to say
definitely.
meaner or worse stuff, but I'm going to keep it to myself today.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Never know what you're going to get from Chelsea. Not the best for sure to the full potential that they could be. But, result, that's all that matters. And let's move into our Sunday games.
The supposed game of the week, bore of the week, if we're being honest. London
I don't know.
Derby, Arsenal Tottenham. I mean, I, I don't know what to say. Brennan Johnson, I dude is I don't know, man. I don't know. They saw some potential, but I don't see it.
I mean, he played really. I really liked him in the preseason. He was looking really good, but he's just not really doing too much right now. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to come from him. What's to come from him yet? Could be some changes there in the future lineups, but I mean, Spurs they freaking dominated this game in every aspect. Should have had a goal at some point. Never had the chance to put it away. I mean, Dominic Solanke did come back.
Yeah, I finally saw him.
Didn't play bad, didn't play horrible, or too well. Had some good build-up play for sure from him. Kulusevski, I mean, he's been tearing it up. I think it's time for him to start on the wing. But I mean, that probably would bring into question who else is going to start in the midfield. Personally, I'd like to see Sar starting there in the midfield. And just see what happens there. But definitely something needs to get switched up. Maybe I really don't know. Maybe even a Timo Werner, on the right instead. They tried Odebear out, later in the game. Just nothing could get going for these guys. Have a Rolls Royce team all the way across, and they can't manage to score a goal against a beaten Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who Tottenham brought in, they brought in a lot of youngsters. A lot of youngsters. They, I mean, they did spend a little on Solanke, but I feel like they could have definitely used someone in the midfield. Um, because Basuma, we all knew he wasn't gonna play. It was pretty much from before the game even came up that he was gonna miss it. And yeah, Arsenal, despite all their injuries, they came away with the win. I'm tired of seeing all these Martinelli praise. I don't see it. I don't see it. Do you see it, Gab? I don't see it.
No, definitely not.
I saw a
Yeah,
tweet. It was like just a reminder that Arsenal only paid $6 million for Martinelli, and all the comments are like, "We could tell."
yeah, yeah. Definitely a bit odd. I mean, that's they brought in Raheem Sterling, who also very heavily plays that position, could be an answer for them. Didn't really play too long, about 10, a little bit 12 minutes or something like that, just to get his feet under him and such. But, could be a potential starter moving, forward once he gets a bit more trainings under his belt for sure. But yeah, I mean, just, no midfield for them right now. I mean, was a midfield, but I mean, not really commanding from Jorginho or Thomas Partey. Trossard got in there too, had like a cam, second striker, center forward type deal. Yuri and Timber played really, really well in this game. Absolute menace. Ben White, absolutely mediocre. Both the center backs from Arsenal were all right. Nothing shaky, nothing special from Saka. Although he did play well, and nothing from Havertz. I mean, this was the perfect game to catch Arsenal lacking in. They should have in a derby of this magnitude with the amount of dominance that Tottenham had. They just can't score.
No,
Still.
still they're struggling. They
Yeah.
are struggling.
Yeah.
Last year, Kim Son was up there with the Golden Boot, struggling this year so far.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, lackluster from Tottenham. But we'll see. We got another massive game coming up next week for Arsenal and Man City, so that'll be a big one. See what Arsenal will do. They'll have Declan Rice back, so we'll see what happens. If they without Martin Odegaard, their chances are dropping significantly. Without Declan Rice, it dropped us substantially again. But still come away with the win. That's what good teams do. But we'll see what really what the test tells for Arsenal here next week.
Definitely, yeah. But finishing off that, let's get into our last game of the weekend. We had Newcastle Wolves. It was a pretty good game. Wolves. Gab always mentions Wolves has that aura to them. They got that thing to it that they led the game for most of it until 75th minute with Fabian Schär, banger.
Absolute banger,
Harvey
yeah.
Barnes, banger. Just moments of brilliance, buddy. That's all it takes to win games.
Yeah, definitely. Fabian Schär's was a banger. It was a deflection goal, but
I
Before
didn't
this,
see
I really thought
it.
Craig Dawson from Wolves was one of my better players, that I could thought of. He did have the deflection, which turned it into a bit of a thing. But man, I mean, Strand Larson for me is that dude is a beast.
Yeah, super underrated.
Absolute dummy to Mario Lamina. Great goal from him. um, right place, right time. But I mean, Wolves always have the dog, so we'll see what happens with them. Sam Johnstone's been shaky to start his Wolves career. Don't really care for it too much what he's been doing. But Newcastle, I mean, who would look a little bit lackluster, came in back. Dan Burn, absolute footballer for me. That guy's unreal. That's a real footballer. That's a proper footballer. I mean,
Brexit
just
footballer.
have one look at that guy. He's a Barclays defender man himself. Had it still been named it, uh, but yeah, I mean, good stuff too. Alexander Isak did come off at half, bit odd for me for sure, but they brought on some major changes. Harvey Barnes gets the goal as his replacement. Trippier plays. Joe Willock gets some time. No Almiron still, who seems to
Tonali
have
gets on.
his position at the club basically. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Moving forward, I would have thought Tonali would have started. Sean Longstaff's been getting that position, but not too much of a dominance here. It was a pretty even game. 12 shots to 14, 48 to 51 possession. You know, not, I mean, a pretty even game on paper, on stats, pretty even game in the actual game itself. Nothing too crazy. Wolves always play, like I said, like dogs. 17 committed fouls. I mean, just proper Brexit football they play over there. Hwang Hee Chan's been a little bit slow start, but Sven Larsson's been absolutely unreal. So that's going to take away from him a little bit. Yeah.
That's our weekend recap. Let's take a look at the table. Surprise, surprise. Man City up top next.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's 4-0. Second, Arsenal ahead of Newcastle on goal differential, both with 10. Liverpool at 9. Tied with Villa with +5 goal differential over them. Then we got Brighton and Forest. Yes, Forest. 6th and 7th. Right
Yeah,
behind
it's
them.
crazy.
Chelsea with 7. And you got Brentford United tied with 6 points for 9th and 10th. Bournemouth 5, tied with Fulham with 11 and 12. Tottenham 13th so far. Not the
Yeah.
best. 4 points, tied with West Ham, 13th and 14th place. 15th, and then 15 through 17, we got Leicester, Palace, and Ipswich all tied with 2 points, leading us down to the relegation zone. We got Wolves with 1 point, Southampton and Everton both with 0.
Yeah, definitely tough for those three teams. Wolves, like I said, I mean they've played better than they are. I wouldn't say that the panic button is hit for them quite yet, because I mean we've seen them play. They played quite well. A majority of their goal differential came from the Chelsea game. So I mean, I wouldn't say per se that it's for sure their panic time, but teams like Southampton, Everton, that's quite a big difference for them. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Looks like Leicester will, probably have enough of what it takes to stay up at some point. Forest, quite shockingly, one of the unbeaten clubs this season so far. So far, you got Forest, Brighton, Newcastle, Arsenal, and City as the only unbeaten teams of the season so far. 4 games in, you know, shouts to freaking Forest, man. I can't believe it. Yeah, let's have a look at the Golden Boot real quick. Erling Haaland, number one, 9 goals in 4 games. I mean, dear Lord, Dear Lord, somebody stop this man. It's quite unreal, honestly. You got Luis Diaz and John Duran, Noni Madueke, and Buemo, Sala, Yves Wasuma, or Yves Wissa, all tied for second with 3. You know, list goes on for second, but Erling Haaland with 9. Guy almost had a hat trick of hat tricks. Just absolutely unreal.
Unreal, yeah. It's a joke.
Cole Palmer's been a miss so far this season. Hate to see it.
4 assists. Hate watch. Gab just
I mean, he
wants to
got
hit.
3 assists off of making the same exact pass in one game. So, I mean,
Man,
it wasn't really that crazy of a pass. It was just a layoff pass 3 times.
don't
Boom,
matter.
boom,
Assist is an
boom.
assist.
No, yeah, I agree, but this utter woke nonsense, right, of assists, being that high up, I mean, yeah, he hasn't really done much on the goal end for sure. They haven't gotten many pens, so, he can't keep that tally up. But definitely, I mean, Chelsea's still up there. Second team with the most goals with 8. So that's pretty good for them. Um, yeah, I mean, that's all we got right now for the Prem. It is time to turn the gears a bit into our new Champions League. I say new Champions League because of the format. All brand new.
All
Gonna
new.
break it down here a little bit. You got each team's gonna match up against 8 different opponents, all different. 4 home games, 4 away games. There's gonna be 6 matches Tuesday, 6 matches Wednesday, 6 matches Thursday. Definitely a little bit different. We usually only see Tuesday, Wednesday games, but moving into this Thursday, group stage games, and we'll even see more games than that the next time around. Let's see, it's about 2.5 weeks from now. We'll see a slate of even a day with even more games. But 36 team group stage. Like I said, 8 different opponents per team, 4 home, 4 away. Once you seeds 1 through 8 will be round of 16 automatics. Won't have to play the extra game for the knockout stages. 2 extra games, actually. So anything 9 seed through 24 seed will all face each other in a knockout playoff round, and anything 25 through 36 will be automatically eliminated. Um, the knockout stages also remain the same. The final will still stay the same, so a little bit, more there. But a lot of people always talk about the groups being a bit unfair and, group of death this, group of death that, I guess. So, more so this format is supposed to be teams getting a lot more equal games. I guess you could say,
Well, yeah.
there's still going to be some lopsided games, but at the end of the day, you're not having to play. There's not a team like a PSV, not even a PSV, like a Shakhtar playing in a group of death with PSG, Bayern, and freaking Man City. Or it's more going to be, yeah, they might play 2 games against some real heavy hitters, and then the rest are a lot more equal. But I mean, that's, I guess, the goal. We'll see how it plays out the first season. A lot of sports try a lot of things. Sometimes it's not successful. The NBA did an in-season tournament, very familiar to European football. Where in the middle of the season they have a Champions League esque or a domestic cup esque, tournament in it. Worked out for them. I mean, got a lot of viewers. Created a lot more competition. But I mean, stuff like NFL is doing right now with the dynamic kickoff. I mean, we haven't seen any. It almost feels worse than how it was. But so we'll see what happens with the Champions League draw. I don't know. I think it'll be all right. I don't think there'll be anything wrong with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see.
It takes some used to.
Yeah, got a lot of matchups. If you want to cover all these, choose go for it.
Uh, Yeah, let's just rapid fire through some. Uh, Tomorrow, 9:45 our time, Juventus PSV. Um, Same time, Young Boys Aston Villa. So good to see. We'll see how Villa does now that they have. I feel a more well-equipped team to play. They have plenty of players. They have plenty of options. We'll see if there's gonna be any major changes. Maybe we'll see Matson get a start. Maybe John Duran gets a start. It'll be good to kind of experiment. Um, Big game. We got Milan Liverpool. That one should be a good game. Um,
Yeah.
in Milan. Then we got Bayern Dynamo Zagreb. It's one of those ones seems like one of those one-sided games. Madrid Stuttgart and Sporting versus Lille. Those are the 6 games for tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Well, I think with those, I think Juventus should take it, but PSV
Yeah,
are very, very tough for sure. I'll be interested to see who Aston Villa start, but
yeah,
young boys are also, somewhat tough. I know we absolutely obliterated them last season, but Aston Villa being in the Champions League again could come to Newcastle like it did last season. Give them a bit of trouble. Um, Bayern should obviously dominate. They've been dominating under Vincent Company
yeah.
so far, putting in like 6, 7 past each game almost. Definitely will be interested to see Liverpool coming off the loss. A little bit of controversy, what they do. Cody Gakpo, could earn a spot here in the actual Premier League squad. With maybe a good start here in the Champions League. Milan have a very well equipped squad still. It's always tougher to gauge for me these Serie A teams, the La Liga teams, just because they essentially, even though they're good leagues, they essentially play in 3 league teams, more so. uh, so we'll see what happens there. Madrid, they've been having problems, but I fully expect them to beat Stuttgart. And then Sporting versus Lille should be really good. That should be a potential match of the day for sure. Because there's some match of the weeks for sure in this Champions League. There's too many of them. I feel like.
Should be some good games. Um, let's get into our Wednesday games. We got Bologna FC. No, just kidding. Bologna versus Shakhtar. Uh, Bologna's coming off, I believe, off. No, different team. Different team. But it'll be interesting to see them in the Champions League. When you think of uh, Italian teams in the Champions League, you think Milan, Juventus, Inter, Napoli, Roma. So it's gonna be different seeing them this time around. Got Sparta Prague versus Salzburg, Celtic, Slovan Bratislava, Club Brugge versus Dortmund, and then probably the match of the day, Man City Inter, a little rematch of the final a couple years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And to close off that Wednesday, we got PSG Girona. Girona, who was red hot last year in La Liga. Let's see how they do in the Champions League without their star boy.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what happens there. Um, yeah, obviously, I think that Shakhtar should get the win. They are considered the big boys in this matchup. Bologna um, at home this first game, so could prove to be a boost for them. They've been fighting to play in European football for the last couple of years, and now they have the chance to do so on the biggest stage, Champions League. The atmosphere should be mental. I feel like that's more so also the goal of this new format and adding the teams to get maybe some teams you never heard of, maybe in there, some lower teams. I mean, most of the time, the atmospheres in those games, for some of those clubs are absolutely unreal. A lot of the foreign countries, like the Italies, like the Russias, even, Germany's, they have insane ultras. France too have some absolutely insane ultras that you might not get to see on a regular basis, but this thing being televised, you know, that gives them a chance to see what the atmosphere is like. Same with Sparta Prague. Um, I mean, they're at home as well against Salzburg. Salzburg, bit more of a known club for sure. Have had Erling Haaland at one point. I think they had Supersly at one point as well. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I definitely expect Salzburg to get the win. Dortmund, being the runners up last season, should maybe hopefully dominate again. Celtic, that'll be a good one as well at home. Man City should have the win. Fully expecting it. Debuting a new kit, the Oasis form kit. Don't you even say anything about Oasis because our fan base maybe would toast you. We'll never go big. We'll never go big if you thrash Oasis.
I wasn't gonna thrash nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. We'll leave it at that. PSG versus Girona at home. I don't know. I think we get a bit of a whiff from PSG this season, but we'll see.
See, yeah, should be some interesting games. And let's go into Thursday. It's gonna be weird seeing some Champions League games on Thursday. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
this we got Feyenoord Leverkusen. Should be a good game. Santi Jimenez was linked to Leverkusen. Didn't happen. Let's see how he does against them. Maybe it's his play to impress. Maybe a winter transfer that could happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'll be rooting. We got Red Star Belgrade versus Benfica. Red Star, we've seen them a couple times in it. Benfica's always good. They got who's that one player? I can't think of his name. I thought that just I can't think of his name right now, but they have that one midfielder who's been linked everywhere. Uh, Di Maria's been playing good for them, so would be good to see. Next up, we got Atalanta versus Arsenal. Let's see if Arsenal can keep up their form in the Champions League against a top
Yeah.
Serie A club.
Still will be missing some pieces with
Yeah,
Odegaard out for sure, but it'll
definitely.
be a good chance for Raheem Sterling to get going as well. Having only played, 10, 15 minutes last game. Atlanta, though, coming off the winners, lost the Super League or Super Cup, but I mean, didn't look bad in the Super Cup either. So I'm liking Atlanta for that one, but I'm sure Arsenal will get the win. But this Thursday has some bangers for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Then after that, we got Atletico Leipzig. Atletico, always could be dangerous. Gallagher coming off a goal, first goal for Atletico. Good to see him playing in the Champions League.
Same with Julian Alvarez,
Julian
first
Alvarez
goal,
scored as well. Coming off the bench, buddy, I thought that's why you left. But
backing up another Norwegian striker.
it's crazy talk, huh?
It's like a freaking. I bet he was punching the air when he found that out.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
that's
And then we got Brest versus Sturm Graz. Um, not too familiar with these clubs, I'll be honest with you. But who knows? These are the games where something great might happen, or it might be a boring game. I feel.
yeah, definitely. I mean, but this is literally the format. I mean, you're seeing the tier of club going against the tier of club
Yeah.
versus them going against the Man City. You know, that's what it was made for. And Brest and Sturm Graz still have the opportunity to make it to 1 through 9. And nothing against them. They still have a chance to make it against the knockout stages, but definitely clubs that we've never, maybe heard of before or unfamiliar with. But either way, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Got one last game. Monaco, Barca. We're gonna see Lamine Yamal balling out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Danny Olmo's been killing it for them.
He's
Lamine Yamal,
unfortunately.
absolutely. Lamine Yamal's been cooking. Scoring 2 goals this past weekend. A lot of youngsters came on for Barca. Gavi, is expected to come back and actually start to play here pretty soon. Ansu Fati expected to come back and start, getting some training pretty soon. So a lot of stuff. They still have some major players out like Frankie De Jong. I mean, Gavi's obviously still out as well. Same with Ansu Fati, but some very, very big names. I mean, just off the bat that are injured. Andre Christensen too, been out for a little while. Uh, Araujo, I believe he's suspended from the red card he got last format for the challenge on Kylian, or was it Kylian Mbappe? I think it was on Kylian
I
Mbappe.
think so.
The absolute blasphemous red card that sent us all, into a rage.
Into
And
frenzy.
yeah, but Hansi Flick, man, I mean, you know, Xavi walked so Hansi Flick could run.
Yeah, dude. Hardly Flick ball has been going crazy. Rafinha's looking good. Lamine Yamal's looking good. Danny Olmo's looking good. Unfortunately, he got injured. Lewandowski scoring. Yeah, only we'll see how it correlates into these bigger games, into the Champions League. Let's see if it pays off. But yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like you couldn't have said any better.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, that concludes the week. 3 days of the week. Quite unreal. Next time out, it'll be only 2 days, back to 2 days. But you're going to get freaking 8 games a day from here on out. Tuesday, Wednesday,
So
8
much ball.
games. 6 of those are going to be going at the same time. And then in the morning, there's going to be a 2, 2 in the morning. But yeah, I mean, just absolute madness on the final group stage day, which will be Wednesday, January 29th. You will get every single game going on at the same time.
Jeez.
Every single one. So, I mean, yeah, you're looking at, what is it, 12 games? Let's see.
Ka-chong.
18, it's 18 games. That's quite unreal. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen that one, but you got a couple of good ones to end off the group stage. You have PSV Liverpool. I mean, um, Dortmund Shakhtar, Barca Atalanta, Juventus Benfica, Aston Villa Celtic, Arsenal Girona, Feyenoord Lille. So I mean, some good ones, but there's also some major lopsided ones to end. PSG, Stuttgart, Man City, Club Bridge, Leipzig, Sturm Graz. I mean, some definitely ones you could get smashed on, but either way, it's overall meant to be a little bit, more even. So we'll see how it plays out, but that's quite unreal. That's going to be a bettor's dream for sure. That will be a day to remember, and that's on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Stacked. Yeah. I'm looking at all these pictures. Yeah, buddy. Just you have a
Will be
chance to hit
fun.
one of the biggest parlays that week
Yeah,
that day.
literally that. I mean, man, put 10 cents on something.
10
That'll be
cents on
quite
anything.
unreal.
Cash out $100.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, shoot, that's it for our Champions League preview. if you're still a little bit confused about the format, you could go to the Champions League website. They got a little video that visually breaks it down. Not too much anything crazy right there. Let's see.
Still gonna get used to it. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be right away.
Let me actually see if I can. It's all too weird. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for this week. We will
So we
have
got
a recap coming up with Champions League here on Thursday night. Come out Friday morning. We'll have a Premier League, preview. We'll have our Barclays Man of the Week again. Shoot. We'll see what's going on. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, and subscribe. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. All the links will be in the description of our channel. Just click on the link. It'll take you right to it. But there on out, that's all we got for this episode. Any final thoughts?
like, comment, subscribe, share.
That's it.
That's
All
it,
right.
guys. You guys been kicking it with Gab and Chuch.
Let's go.